Hi, I'm Dr Oughtred. I'm a naturopathic physician with an emphasis on sports medicine. This clip highlights a recent visit that I had with Janyk. Mike's one of Canada's current World Cup ski racers. Mike's a great athlete. He has several top 10 World Cup slalom finishes under his belt, including a silver medal at Beaver Creek in the 06-07 season. Mike experienced a back injury following that year, which prevented him from training and racing as much as he would like to for that season. Mike had some great therapists help him out during his recovery, including one of my mentors, Rick Celebrini. And so Mike was forced to focus on a lot of precise movement patterns that he never would have learned had he not been injured. Now Mike appreciates how valuable therapeutic exercise can be, but admits that it's hard to stay on top of while training as a group with the ski team. Mike asked me to do an assessment on him to help him add a personalized edge to his current training program, with an eye towards preventing future injury and perhaps enhancing his performance. Mike was with me for 2.5 days. I did an assessment and wrote up some general recommendations for exercise, stretching, and physical therapy. I think the big keynotes from his assessment were his limited ankle extension, his tight hip flexors, and he had multiple muscular weaknesses about the hip joint. I found Mike was very strong in straight ahead positions, or sagittal plane positions, but was relatively weaker in other twisting and side-to-side planes, which I think are important for ski racers. If an athlete can squat close to 500 pounds, but they can't resist 10 pounds of pressure when they're up on the therapy table, that doesn't seem right to me. So all we did is prescribe some basic stretches and exercises that Mike can do in order to eliminate those relative weaknesses and imbalances that we found. So I'll just quickly walk you through some of the exercises that I did with Mike and outline why I chose them. Before I outline all the exercises, you should see Mike squat. Notice his poor ankle motion on both sides, but especially the left. What happens with poor ankle extension is that the bones in the foot and the ankle have to flatten and rotate in order to finish the squat, finish the motion. When this happens, the lower leg rotates, causing an undesirable chain of events that puts the knees, hips, lumbar spine, and pelvis in a compromised position. So when Mike jumps up and down, you can see that he shies away from that left side, shifts over to his right side a little bit more, and you can see that because the left ankle can't move as well, it toes out a little bit more, and then that forces the knee to not work like a hinge all of a sudden. To address that ankle problem, we give Mike stretches. The band behind the ankle just adds to enhance the glide in the ankle that has to happen for ankle extension to occur. This exercise here is for Mike's external rotators in his hip. After about 2 or 3 reps of the exercise, he noticed he was already starting to feel tired, so I think it's safe to say he needed the exercise, and he appreciates it. I like adding this rotation portion for people who are more athletic. It just adds a little more functionality to it, and with Mike it gets him using his obliques, which actually causes some inhibition in the back muscles, which I thought were a little tight. In the big picture, I thought Mike's hip flexion was pretty good, but when I got picky and got my hands around where he had his injury down in the lower segments of his low back, I noticed that they moved pretty early in the motion, so all he's doing here is focusing on using the muscles that control those lower segments in his back, and at the same time he's mobilizing the hip, so he's basically learning to kind of flex through the hip and maintain a real nice neutral position in those areas of his back where he's had those previous injuries. And then when we get him into the all fours position, it's pretty much the same thing, it's just a little bit more complex. Then the next step from here is for Mike to stand up and squat. And he just integrates the same patterns that he was practicing in a more controlled position on his hands and knees, to a basic squat, to a quicker drop squat, to a jumping squat, and it can go on and on. He can go right up to, performing some kind of, Olympic lifts or more complex twisting jumps. This integrates the 2 previous things we just looked at. Neutral spine while he flexes forward, and the external rotators in the hip. His glute medials were weak, especially in the extended position in the hip, making sure his TFL isn't activated too much in that top leg. TFL, weak. His low abs, more in the shortened position, I thought were weak, so that's why he's doing it in this awkward position. Obliques in general needed more emphasis. So here he is, he's activating them in all sorts of different functional patterns. Twist, resisting a twist and using his external rotators in his hips at the same time. This is from Mike's workout that he's doing after his training sessions, so after he skis, after he works out in the gym. What I'm doing with it is to promote his endurance in the key muscles that create stability in his hips and lumbar spine especially. You'll notice that I have the bands, the cross tubing on them. It could be anything, we could use other things, but I like the bands. They promote the muscles that I'm trying to target. With each set, he's just going to go till failure. He's going to keep going until he can't maintain that perfect position that he's good at, and then he'll stop. But minute to 2 minutes these sets. A lot of injuries happen at the end of training sessions, so training Mike at the end of his training sessions is building a certain amount of endurance. Hopefully it's going to prevent injury. That's pretty much it. The last little clip is me just demonstrating a little progression of Mike's TFL exercise. For more information about me, visit ryanouttred.com. Check out Mike's website, mikejanyk.com. I'm just going to finish with a couple finish shots from Mike's previous seasons. And the last one's one of my personal favorites. Ski fast, Mike. Good luck.